Growth, and we've got the time for an interview with the first place team of the entire group stage 2, specifically with Cr1t. Cr1t, congratulations on your victory and congratulations on a fantastic group stage 2. I'm assuming you're there.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at a logo right now, but I picture your face. You're there, right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Cr1t. Well, while I'm staring at this, I will say, how has this entire week been for you? Because what do you talk about as a team if you're constantly winning? If you're losing, then you're like, okay, let's look at the replay. Let's see what we did wrong. You guys dropped a single game in this entire group stage 2. So what's the post-match discussion like in an environment like that?
I mean, it's obviously good. The vibes are good. We had a little bit of a hiccup yesterday against Aurora, where we kind of wanted to have like the perfect group stage, and then we lost this game. But at the end of the day, I think it's good to lose a little bit, you know, not just all wins. It always helps a little bit to get some valuable losses in there. So I think we got a little bit humbled by Aurora, and then today we picked it back up. So I'm happy that we bounced back from that.
Nice. And you also picked it up in this series with a support Terrorblade. Now, obviously, this thing has been trending. How long have you been practicing it? Were you one of the first, or you saw other players doing it and you're like, oh, I should give this a shot?
No, I was definitely not one of the first. I was a big doubter. Like, I was watching people play this. I'm like, this is stupid. And then I was like, you know, I kind of had to try it just because, you know, when you think something is stupid, you have to confirm it. And then I tried it and it was actually good. So then I was like, oh, I guess I was wrong. And it ended up being pretty good. So I have a few pups on it, but it's definitely not my most played hero. So,
what was your hypothesis as to why it wouldn't be good? I guess now that I think about your pool, you play a lot of stuns on your 4 positions, and I guess that would be one exception.
Yeah, but I think it's a pretty high skill hero to support, just because the illusions are very abusable. So I think that's like an attractive point of it. But other than that, for sure, it's nothing like my other heroes. So this is definitely a bit different. But the Q is just a fun spell to use. It feels very good when you use your reflection on the enemy carry. So I think that's the biggest reason why people are playing it.
Right on. All right. Well, I got Kazu standing by for a question for you as well.
What's up, Cr1t? I have a question about your 2 young prodigies with Amar and Malrine. So you played in the same squad for a long time. Now you're playing with them. I would say they're very young, you know, they're up and coming. I feel like they have strong personalities. What are like some of the bigger things that you learned from them, which you probably did learn something?
I don't know. I feel like I'm the one teaching most of the stuff. I don't know. These guys are kind of just clowns. I mean, they're definitely very confident. I can kind of sense, like, I remember that from playing with the other young good players. You know, I've been in that position before. I've played with a lot of good players that were very young, so I think I can recognize that. And I think for the rest of us on the team, like me and all the Tundra guys, I think we all kind of had a pretty specific idea about how Dota works, and it's a good foundation. And then the young guys kind of just challenge that in some ways and kind of improve in some ways. And then that's just good to have like a little bit of 2 sides of it. And I think that just helps the overall conclusion of it.
Then how helpful do you think it is? So if you feel like you're bringing more of the gameplay to them, how helpful do you think is it to some of you guys who have already had success, that you bring in some new blood who are maybe more hungry than you were in the past years, like maybe reigniting some motivation and passion? Does that play any part?
No, I think everyone on this team would have, like, even if we had been 5 old players, you know, I think we would have been hungry anyway, because we're just I think everyone on this team is just that type of person, you know. We don't like losing. I think last year was not very fun for me, and I think it wasn't for everyone. So I think, I mean, for sure, I mean, they're hungry to win, and Malrine is like the biggest pub spammer in the world and plays a lot of Dota, and it kind of just makes you do it as well because you're seeing the dedication. So for sure it helps with the motivation that everyone is interested in winning and trying to be the best player they can. It just makes you want to do the same thing. And
last question about team fighting. I think you guys are the best at team fighting and like maybe understanding what you need to do. Do you think that comes more from individual skill and knowing your hero limits? Does that come from you guys like analyzing this with maybe AUI after games, or is it mostly about planning before the fight, like I'm gonna do this, I need you to do this? What's like the dynamic with that?
No, I think we have some good concepts. Our communication is pretty good. I think a lot of routine coming in from all the Tundra guys about how you're supposed to communicate in game helped us a lot just from the start of the team and how we want this team to function in game. I think that's been was sort of like the building stone or like the foundation for the team, and that's kind of just been that, and we built on from that, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like I think we have a good way of talking to each other, and then it translates into the game, and then that just means that you can team fight better.
Yep, looks like it. All right, thank you. That's all.
And one last question from me, Cr1t. On the topic of last year, was there anything special to you about this series, about seeing Arteezy on the other side? Was it bittersweet for you to be playing against him, or was it like a fun rivalry now that you guys have split?
I think it was a little bit fake, just because the series didn't matter for us and it didn't really matter for them. So I wouldn't say there's too much to read into it. I mean, it was definitely a little bit special, just because I played with them for so long, both Baldwin and Tour, and I was looking forward to it a little bit in the first group stage, and then when I saw we were playing them last in this group stage, I was a little bit, like I didn't want it to be in a situation where we could knock each other out, which obviously is what ESL wanted to happen. In some way, it was not the real test of the two teams, I think. I also think it was a little bit weird because this series, us playing this series, it was actually better for us to lose this series in terms of getting top 4 in the EPT, which is a little bit weird, because if we'd lost this series, Extreme would have gone below SR.
Oh.
And that would have just meant that we would have gotten top 4. So I think there's a little bit of problems with the system, because it would have been better for us to lose, basically. So I'm happy that we kept our competitive integrity in this one, but yeah, a little bit of faults in the format.
All right, well, we'll save the true elimination script for maybe like season 2, like a Birmingham Grand Finals or something like that. How does that sound instead?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, we'll make it happen. I'll put in a good word with the boys upstairs. Cr1t, congratulations on a stellar performance in this group stage 2, and best of luck in the playoffs as you get one day off. Enjoy it. We'll see you on the weekend.
Thank you. Have a good night.
See you later.